How's it going, everyone? Got a little update, like I said I would do. So, a little back history with this turbo. It's S480. It's got a 1.1 AR T4 8374 turbine. Small, very small. I didn't realize how small it was, and that's a little bit of my own fault. Still new with these turbos, these big turbos especially. I'm used to little turbos like this. V6 turbos. Biggest one I ever had before was I think a Warner S366, and the turbine on that was probably almost as big as this one. This is supposed to be for a 6.0 LS, so we learned our lesson. We learned to properly size these things. So the turbine itself is just too small. It's good for a street car, but we are going all out drag racing. We are not driving it on the road. We really don't care what the spool up is like on this as long as it spools up, which is no problem with some of our advanced tables with the fueling, timing, and the two-step, and then you can bump it in, and it works amazing. So lesson learned. Don't really care what there's a little bit of backlash, back and forth of back pressure and what you want on the exhaust pre-turbine, because you want to have some dry pressure to spool the thing up, and I understand, but no way do you want to have 2 or 3 to 1 ratio of back pressure. I not a professional at this, but it only makes sense not to have all that back pressure. So I am trying to be at 1 to 1 or 1.5 to 1, not 2 or 3 to 1, because last time that I ran this and actually got to see it, the back pressure at 14 psi, I had 30 psi of back pressure. So I was at like 2.1 to 1. Too high. It's just a waste. It's making the turbo much less efficient. It's got a lot of pressure in it. It takes more to drive the thing because now we have this backup into our engine, and we're not getting the heat out fast enough. And what we want, lower back pressure. So we have a S485 that should be here tomorrow with a T6. It's got a 96, 88 millimeter turbine. It should be much better for our hot side. Should have no problem with back pressure. And it only makes sense that this is going to help. And I'm glad that this is a turbo I probably should have gotten in the first place and the one I'm getting now. But you live and learn. Paid to learn this one because I had to buy another one to sell this one. And it's never the same price, right? So, but that's what we're doing. So we'll have to change put a T6 turbine or T6 flange on our exhaust out there. No big deal. And we're going to have to do, I cut this V-band off. It was 4-inch. I'm not putting a 5-inch pipe out the hood. 4 inches. This is our down pipe. It's got a 5-inch, the new one. So, but we got them pieces and parts coming. We'll try to get it rolling tomorrow. And we will get this puppy back together and running, and we'll have to start all over with the CO2. It was apparently obvious because I would started noticing my CO2 pressure was getting astronomical as I wanted to turn this thing up. If I would just run like 8 to 10 psi with this turbo, and it would have probably ran 630s in the eighth of a mile, about 130 constantly. If I was content with that, it would have been perfect. But as soon as I got up to like 12 or 13 psi and started to trap a little higher, it was working, but that's when the back pressure went crazy after that. So it's kind of makes sense. It is common sense to me now that the turbine sizing and the AR is what is going to dictate your back pressure because of the engine size. If this was like a 4.8 liter, this turbo would probably be really nice. But it's a 6.0. It's got a healthy cam in it, and it needs more turbine. It needs to be bigger. So I won't bore you guys anymore. I just figured I'd update it, and maybe somebody can learn from me. If you're going for an all-out race build, you just buy the biggest turbine you can stick on the thing. Don't listen to anybody else that says you want to have 2 to 1 back pressure ratio on a dedicated drag car, because if sometimes it's inevitable. I probably won't have 1 to 1. You start turning it up to 20 psi, it ain't gonna be 1 to 1. But if I can keep it down as low as it possibly can, then that will make more power and keep this compressor more efficient. Else than that, we boost leak checked everything on this whole car. I found some little V-band leaks on the exhaust crossover, but in the blow-off valve had a little one. So we got them all fixed up. So we'll be boost leak free with a nice new turbo, and we're gonna hit the racetrack and do some 8th mile racing, and hopefully we can come back and be in one piece and get to make a couple hits and turn it up, I got to start completely over with the CO2, the dome pressure, so in the wastegate springs. So we're gonna just put a 6 psi spring in it, jam in about 5 psi dome pressure, and see if we can make 7, 8, 9, 10 pounds of boost. We'll see what it wants to do, and then we'll just, after that, we'll go from there. So I'll let you guys know how it goes, and I'll post up some videos of us racing, hopefully on Sunday. You guys have a good one.